Alright guys, welcome to Across the Gun Counter. I'm your host, Joe Riva, joined by the reason I'm actually able to finish my gun projects.
Haha, Tyler Weaver.
Alrighty. Alrighty guys, welcome to this week's episode of Across the Gun Counter. And this is actually a pretty cool episode because this is the first episode we're actually recording since we actually launched, Tyler.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say about that, Tyler, since we launched so far?
Man, it's definitely different hearing yourself on a podcast player. I'll say that.
Yeah, that is definitely true, hearing yourself over recording.
And nitpicking everything that you say, like, damn, I do say that a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's, let's be honest there.
Let's be honest.
But, yeah, guys.
I gotta work on that.
I say leave it. I like it. Anyways, guys, we want to say thank you to everyone so far who have listened. We've gotten a lot of feedback so far. And, yeah, we're happy happy with everything everyone said so far. Everyone's liked a lot of what we've done. In particular, so far, the one episode was the SKS rifle. A lot of people like the overview we did on that.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising because we weren't really planning on gearing the podcast towards like overview, review type content. But I mean, if it's what you guys want to hear, we'll definitely take it into consideration.
And that being said, one of the next episodes coming up is actually going to be another overview on another surplus rifle.
What are we doing?
Actually, you know what? We're going to talk about that afterwards because I don't want to spoil it, but it's a fan favorite.
All right.
Something else we actually had a couple requests for guests already. So we actually do have a couple of things in the works so far that we plan on actually having a couple people coming on the show and, actually discussing their views of the gun industry. Because, again, Tyler and I, we both know a lot of people who have worked in the industry over the years.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, including your wife, Tyler.
Yeah, and she's honestly really excited to get on the podcast.
Yeah, so we're gonna have her on soon, which is gonna be, I think I'm really looking forward to having her on because, a female perspective from working across the gun counter, if you will, and
yeah, you definitely are gonna have to get some sort of a soundboard for that so we can bleep every time she curses.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The note to add explicit to our podcast was is I think a note just for the Rose episode. But again, guys, thank you for everything so far, and please, as we keep growing, you know where to find us so far: Spotify, Apple Music,
iTunes,
whatever,
Amazon.
Amazon as well. There's a couple other places like Podcast Index, but please share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and the main thing we like to post on is Instagram. Please follow us on there as well. And the website as well. And lastly, actually, I can't believe I almost forgot about this. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Mark. Mark is the one who actually did all the intro music for us and all the music for the outro as well.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
Yep, thanks, Mark. So as soon as he gets on it, I'm gonna have a link to hopefully his sound something or other, so you can download his stuff if you want. Yeah. So just keep an eye out for that, and we'll post that on the website soon.
All right.
Alrighty, Tyler. So what's our topic for today?
So our topic for today is setting up a range bag, because it's one of those critical things that a lot of people forget to bring with them is the supplies that they need for a good trip to the range.
Including an actual bag at times.
Well, I mean, I have mine in a box, so fuck you, Joey.
Well, I just mean in general, yes, but something to bring all the stuff to the range instead of just bringing everything in your hands.
Yeah, a backpack, or I've seen people bring grocery bags too. That never ceases to amaze me. When you got M1 Garand clips full of Spitzer nose bullets just poking through giant bags.
Yeah, that's just an accident waiting to happen.
Sorry, Giant's a grocery store around this area. For those of you that don't know.
Yes, in a free country, you can still get plastic bags. Ooh, shots fired.
Damn. I guess paper bags would work too. They might even be better.
Yeah,
anyway,
we don't want to give them reasons. Anyways, for prepping your range bag, this is before we did this episode. I was really thinking what went into my range bag. Like, what do I have in my range bag, and what is something I bring with me every time? And is there something I do differently for going to different ranges or doing different things? And I don't know about you, but the main two schools of thought I brought to that came to mind was: am I going rifle shooting or am I going handgun shooting?
Okay, and this will be interesting because full disclosure, Joey and I have never shot together.
Yeah, that's actually funny. Now, aside from test firing, no, we
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
haven't been
we've
to the
test
range.
fired stuff, but like we've never actually got gear together and like planned a trip to the range, so we have no idea what each other brings.
That is true. That is true. That is exciting to hear.
Yep,
Now
I'm
that we're
just
going there,
realizing that now.
that is funny. Yeah, that is. So okay. So would you agree with that? Like that would be the main two different things: is shooting rifle versus shooting handgun. You'd have to prep differently.
I mean, there's a bunch of shotgun shooters cussing you out right now because you're forgetting about them. But
Well, I would consider
yeah, I mean,
shotgun in the rifle shooting, I guess. But I guess you know what, you're right. There would be a different setup
yeah,
for shotgun,
absolutely.
absolutely. But I also remember I really don't shoot shotgun a whole lot, so I actually don't have a setup for shotgun per se.
Hmm. And I didn't really until I started getting into sporting clays, and then it's like, okay, well, when I go out with sporting clays, I typically wear a vest, which I'm never wearing a vest or anything of that nature when I'm doing handgun or rifle shooting. Uh, Sometimes I'll have like a little drop pouch, which some people use for like tactical rifle handgun shooting. But for shotgunning, it's nice because you can just drop your empty shells right in there, you know. So for me, I've found that having essentially like three different go-to packs works
Okay.
really nice.
Okay, see that makes sense. Rifle, shotgun, and then handgun. So,
Hmm.
see, I guess I offended some shotgun people, but listen, if you're offended and you're listening to the show, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna say some stupid stuff, so you have to expect it from me.
That's great. Anyway, continuing on.
Yeah. Anyways, so that being said, so rifle, shotgun, and handgun. Yeah. So we're in pretty much agreement that there would be three
Mm.
different setups. I think synonymously, my rifle and shotgun would be very similar. But what would your shotgun entail? You said so. You got the vest. Basically, you're gonna bring your actual vest with you.
Yep, yeah, I have a shotgun vest. Typically, I will bring that drop pouch that I was saying. For shotgun, I never wear earmuffs. It's always strictly earplugs, so I have a little pouch with at least 5 sets of earplugs because
Hmm.
if you're going around like a sporting clays course or something like that, it it is easy to pop out an earplug in between when you're like walking to the next course if it's through the woods or whatever, to talk with your friends and then pop it back in and lose one or something of that nature. So I try to make sure I have like 5 pair because it's
Makes
not
sense.
just me losing them either. It's whoever you're shooting with, like, damn, I can't find my earplug.
Oh, I mean, I can't tell
So
you how many times I get to the range and I'm like, please tell me someone has earplugs
mm-hmm.
with them.
Yep. Oh, I've literally stuffed like napkins in my ears before, just 'cause it's like, god damn it, I came all the way out here to shoot, and I'm gonna shoot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been there once.
So, what about you? What do you like if you were to go out shotgunning?
So I guess shotgunning. See, I guess my perspective of shotgunning would be a little bit different from at least my
Mhm.
initial thought, because yours is thinking from clay shooting and
Yes.
or bird shooting, where my initial thought, I guess, for shotgun would be for home defense shooting.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Valid point.
so I guess even though I don't use a shotgun for home defense, I think I mentioned that in one of the previous episodes. I use a handgun,
Hmm.
just due to the nature of my home. But with a shotgun for home defense, I think I'd bring basically what I would have. I'd bring a little bit less, I guess, than normal. I would just bring my targets, my staple gun, um, the ammunition, and I guess whatever I guess speed loader or whatever saddle I guess I would have on the shotgun for
Okay.
active
Yeah.
loading. I guess something like that to practice active
Hmm.
loading, because I think at that point I'd be more trying to practice my skill and my skill and my talent, I guess, with it, because I'd be
There you
trying to
go.
use it for practical and realistic scenarios, opposed to sitting at a bench or standing at a bench or standing at a line, if you will.
Hmm. Now, for me, like I'm typically shooting fixed chokes, over under shotguns, but some people do have interchangeable chokes, and it's always nice to bring your little case with your choke tubes and a choke tube wrench with some choke lube. Um, doesn't even have to be like uh, a brand name choke lube. I know people that have used petroleum jelly, like
Hmm.
Vaseline. It works really well, gets the job done. Like a white lithium grease that also works well. So you don't have to go buying, you know, gun brand specific lube just to do the job. But please, people, always lubricate your choke tubes.
Always lubricate your tubes.
I mean, I can't tell you how many I've had in the shop that are just like completely freaking frozen. Like they're absolutely rusted in there, and you cannot break them out with a normal choke tube wrench. To the point where I've had to machine like heavy duty choke tube wrenches just to break them loose. And at that point the choke tube's basically destroyed, but you're able to save that barrel.
Well, that would be something too. Is for your shotgun, would you bring any kind of cleaning, like basic cleaning, like I guess any other kind of tool outside of a normal cleaning kit with you to the range for a
Oh,
shotgun?
see, like I said, I don't have a range bag. I have more of a box. It's almost like a big. How do I want to explain it? Kind of like a tote bin, if you
Hmm.
can imagine that. It's a gun specific tote bin, and I mean
I
for
actually
that
think I
I
know what you're
have.
talking about. I think I actually saw one of
Yeah, it's
those.
like a OD green one. I think it's by Plano,
It's
and
actually kind of
I mean
cool.
I have a good amount of tools in there. Just from being a gunsmith, having some extra stuff that usually gets thrown in. But like, I mean, some of the main tools that I have in that are a ball peen hammer, like a multi tool, like a Leatherman,
Hmm.
pliers, a decent knife, basic screwdriver kit, stuff that'll get you out of a pinch when you need it, but nothing. You're not going to be performing surgery on a range bench. You know what I mean? Nor
Yeah.
should you.
Well, I think we've all been there in a situation where we've almost had to perform surgery on a range bench.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Okay, screw loosened up, something popped off. It's like, okay, I can at least get this functioning again until I can get back home and really do it upright.
well, that's something kind of funny as we're talking. I'm thinking about that too. Is your range bag? I think is something that kind of evolves over time too,
Oh,
because
it absolutely should.
because every time that I've had that like I've added something was because something has happened, and subsequently I was like, crap, I thought I
Yeah,
had that.
I've been there.
Exactly. There was numerous times where I thought I had a knife or I forgot I had a knife, and I ended up having to use a key or
hmm
something, and I ended up scratching something. And
Staples.
yes, that's
Staples are a big one.
the
You take
biggest
the
thing.
goddamn staple gun and you have like four staples in there.
Oh, that yeah, staples and staple guns are. I don't know. For the longest time, I did not have a staple gun.
hmm
I just borrowed Nicks.
Yeah.
The majority of the time, or I use tape. Weirdly enough, and that's just not
Another good
effective.
one that works is those the little black metal like butterfly clips or whatever that you get for like office supply stores.
Oh, I
You
know.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I never even.
For some ranges, like specifically indoor ranges and shit like that have like the little cardboard hangers and stuff, you can get away with something like that.
Yeah, I never even thought
So,
about that. Something like that
hmm
could work because I've always used just a staple gun or tape.
yeah, and stuff like that doesn't take up much room because that's always another concern of mine is like, you're going to the range, you're loaded down with heavy guns. The last thing you want is a super heavy range bag or
That.
like in my case a giant box, but
Well,
I'll
so yeah.
take it with me anyway.
Well, that's the thing is too. So yeah, I guess it's keeping the load somewhat light when going to the range.
hmm
Now for basically going with rifles, there's with my basic range bag. So I guess let's go. What's in my range bag? The basic thing that goes with me, whether I'm going rifle shooting or handgun shooting, is going to be the bag itself, obviously. In that bag, I'm going to have basic cleaning supplies too. I always have cleaning rods. The one thing I always
hmm
found in the past was getting a brass case stuck, especially shooting old bolt actions, something like that. Actually having to knock an old casing out,
Yep,
things like
that's a
that.
big one.
Or honestly, if other people are shooting, maybe I'll just be cleaning my gun while I still have some downtime, which hasn't happened in a good long time, but it's something that might
hmm
happen. Patches, some kind of paper towel, some things of that nature, some kind of rag. I actually
Yeah,
do have a
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I actually have a microfiber cloth in there now too because I found that just having to wipe stuff down or just
hmm
anything,
I
it's just
typically have a dry rag and an oil rag.
yeah,
Kind of keep those separate.
yeah, exactly, something like that. They're easy and you never know when you're just gonna need to wipe something down or something might be dirty or just oily
hmm
or whatnot. You have
Yeah.
to break down your
Or like
rifle.
summertime, it's a hot, humid day out, or it's rainy. Before you throw those guns back in the case, I always have like an aerosol can of oil. Spray that on, give it a quick wipe down, and throw it back in the case until you can get home and do a good stripping clean of it.
Well, that's actually something too. I was actually going to say in that bag is I actually do have a can of it used to be rem oil. It actually might be
Yep,
rem oil.
that's what I use.
Yeah, I have to check what's in there right now. But yeah,
They went and took the goddamn Teflon out of it, Joey.
oh, I didn't know that was in there.
Yes. Yeah, the old Rem oil had Teflon, and since Remington, the bankruptcy and everything, and then it came back, I noticed the can no longer says Teflon, and I bought like 5 cans of it at once. I'm like, well, let's see if it's still the same.
And what's the Teflon? What's the real difference with that? And have you noticed the difference?
Teflon's like a, you'll see it in like pans and shit like that, where it's like a non-stick
Oh.
chemical.
Mm.
Yup. So, really to aid in like the lubricity of it. So,
Interesting.
I haven't noticed a difference yet, but I did notice it's not on the can label anymore. So,
Let me guess, it costs more now too.
jeez, I can't even remember.
Oh man.
Another good one is Ballistol.
Ballistol?
Ballistol is another, good aerosol lubricant.
You know, the only time I actually ever saw Ballistol being used was we were using it at a reenactment one time.
Oh yeah.
That Spanish Ruby pistol, actually, you helped me fix up the one day for my buddy. Yeah, they were trying to get that lubricated the one day, and that's all they had was Ballistol. And,
Gotcha.
yeah, it wasn't doing the trick for me, I'll tell you that. I was not happy with it.
Yeah, I've really never used it to a great extent either. One thing, though, that I do keep in my range bag now, from, like you were saying, having issues, a aerosol white lithium grease.
White lithium.
Because the MG42,
Oh.
it really needs, you have that long stroke on it. It really needs to be run very wet. And that white lithium grease is just excellent for spraying up like the what the hell do you call that? The track that the bolt rides in.
Oh, those rails?
Yeah, that operate the feeding of the belt. I'm drawing a blank on it right now, but I mean, you got a lot of mechanics in there. You have that long stroke, so it's nice to have that like aerosol powered white lithium grease. Just spray the shit out of the whole inside, close it up, and you're ready to rock. So, just from having it hang up on me many times, it's like, you know what? We're just gonna keep that in the bag now.
Nice. And then, so that happened. Again, something with your range bags always evolving. You had that keep happening, so eventually you just threw it on in there. What else is basically in there? Earplugs. I actually have several sets of earplugs. As we're talking about that, I try to keep a spare pack of those orange foam ones because I personally actually like those more than normal Ear Pro. Everyone always tells me that you should double up.
I've always been an earplug guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I always find that, especially because it's not as bad handgun shooting, but like when I'm rifle shooting, that like this just getting behind the rifle, just those earphones get in the way.
Yep, knocking on the stock and everything, and yeah.
Yeah, it's screwing up my line of sight.
That's one thing I've always found. For me, like when I go to shoulder the rifle, I'll hear it like knock up against the butt end of the stock, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, and there's a lot of older rifles I shoot too. Like it's I want to say like the Enfield was like that, where it would just kind of get in the way. Actually, no, it wasn't the Enfield. I'm blanking on which rifle it is now, but it would always just get in the way of when I was trying to get behind it. But yeah, that's
the thing. Like for me, working at the machine shop, I was wearing earplugs every single day, so it's one of the things I've gotten very used to putting them in correctly. So I have no issues with it. But granted, I'm also not shooting all the time either.
Yeah. Well, actually, I actually do have a pair of Ear Pro in there too, just in case someone does prefer Ear Pro. I do like if I have a new shooter with me, I like to have the
like earmuffs, like over the head earmuffs.
The ones I actually like to use, I like to give the new shooters in particular the electronic earphones where they can hear you, because I find that a lot of new shooters are obviously very nervous. So I'd rather they be able to hear every command without having to be like, what, like every two seconds, and it's
or just smiling and nodding.
Yeah, smiling and nodding,
Yeah,
like
okay.
no. I'm asking if you understood me, not smile and nod just so it'll appease me. That's not what we're here for. We're here for you to learn. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's in the range bag. That always goes with me. Well, one thing that actually got added that always goes with me is because I go more rifle shooting than handgun
Mhm.
shooting. Is my rifle scope? Not my rifle scope. My spotting scope. Sorry, I was blanking on
Oh,
the
you know,
name.
that's one thing I actually don't have on my list.
Really?
But yeah, yeah, it's always good to have like binoculars or a spotting scope, something where you're not actively checking your targets with your rifle all the time, or if you don't have any optics on.
Anything, yeah. Even if you have optics on something too, like I noticed, like if some things are sighted in for certain distances and you're trying to see at another distance,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not, it just doesn't work out well because like I was trying to do that with the prism scope I have that 3 times. I was like, all right, I'll just use this instead
Yeah,
of. I was like, no. I was like, why did you do this? And
yeah,
again,
forget it.
so that's why
Well,
I,
it's like any kind of ghost ring sights.
yep,
Once you're pushing them out to 100 yards, it's like, dude, I have no idea if I'm even on there.
exactly. So you need to make sure you have a spotting scope, something like that, binoculars, something,
Mm-hmm.
something so you can see what you're hitting. Oh, and
Yeah,
with that, like we said, staples, staple gun, and targets. Staples, staple
absolutely.
gun, targets are always a must.
So now here's the thing with your targets. Do
hmm
you always uh, bring like a full size target? Do you have like backup targets in your bag? Anything of that nature?
So what I actually, you're gonna laugh. A friend of mine actually gave me a bunch of like those big, really long, like the really tall rifle targets.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, like the full body, and I really like those. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason I really like those is you can kind of shoot different parts of the target.
Yeah, gives you more options.
Exactly. So what I've been doing lately actually is I'll get one of those big targets, and then I'll get a bunch of the stickers, and
Yep.
I'll just put them over it. So then I'll know where I'm hitting in certain spots, or like I'll have the reactive sticker targets. Is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so I'll shoot, and then I'll cover up with those reactive sticker targets. So then it'll be like, okay, this group I'm gonna set at this target. This group's gonna be at this target. This group's gonna be at this, so I can see actually where I'm hitting.
Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense. Thing I've found, like, I'll have these cheap. I mean, they're like it might have been like a $3 or $4 pack of targets just as like an emergency backup. But one thing I found that works really well if you have a very small range bag,
hmm
you're trying to conserve space, is maybe a deck of cards.
Hmm.
Something simple like that.
Interesting.
Where you could just staple up a couple cards. Shoot the hearts, shoot the spade, whatever. Make a little
Interesting.
game out of it.
I
And
never even thought
they
about
take
that.
up they take up next to no room in your bag, and you got what 52 targets right there.
That'd be fun for handgun shooting.
Yeah, little idea.
Yeah, what? We're gonna do that, or I'm gonna do that next time. Actually, I'm gonna get a deck of cards. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, I have like I think 3 decks of cards in my range bag.
Yeah,
Every
actually,
time I come across like a free one or whatever, like oh, that's where that's going.
that's not a bad idea. I never thought about that.
Plus, I mean, you really want to get crazy, you could always try splitting them on edge. So I've
Wait,
done that a couple times.
I was gonna say you have that one in your shop. I remember, and I was like, "Ooh, that's
Yep.
that's pretty cool. I'd like to do that."
Yeah, the one I took my time with. That was the ace of spades, trying to shoot it right through the spade.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you that took many many practice shots on other cards before I was ready to go for that one. Just to have something nice I could frame.
Yeah. No, that is cool. That is something neat to frame. That's something too. I
Mhm.
don't know if not really a prepping your range bag thing, but I know some people do bring targets to theirs home with them and stuff like that too. I haven't done that in a good while, but I know a lot of people, especially for first time shooters, they like to bring home their targets.
Yeah, there's been times where like I'll mark a target with like the date what I was shooting, bring it home with me just to throw it in the safe. Like okay, maybe next year, a year or two, I'll do the same thing, and then just see how it progresses with the same rifle.
hmm
Like I know I haven't done anything with it, but am I noticeably becoming a better shooter? Over the time period.
Hmm.
So
That's
just a little
interesting.
something
I
like
never did that actually.
documentation.
I usually
I
throw
mean,
them all
one
out.
other good thing to keep in your bag is like Sharpies, pens, something
Oh, yeah,
to
absolutely.
write with. Yep. I mean, I know people bring Sharpies just so they can mark little X's or circles over, what group they already shot, something like that. So definitely a nice thing to have with you. But was it shoot and seize? The Birchwood Casey targets. I think they even have the little stickers that you can cover up their target with.
Oh
That
yeah, they're the
still
ones who make
react as
the
well.
yeah they're the ones who make the reactive targets that I've been using.
Those are really nice. I mean, the
A little on the
fluorescent
pricey.
orange
Yeah, they're a little
and
on the pricey
green.
side, but They're not
They
bad.
are, but yeah, that's always one of my go-tos. Plus, they have like the adhesive backing to it.
Hmm.
So worst comes to worst, if you forgot everything, you can usually stick it to the cardboard
Yeah,
at
you
least
can
for a
use.
little while.
Now, as we're talking about this, the rifle and handgun, and I'm also thinking one thing that I don't usually bring with me that sometimes actually does go in my range bag is a rifle mat. Like actually
Oh, yep.
for lying down and going prone and doing shooting. It's something I haven't brought in a good while, but that was something that was a requirement for me for a while because I was trying to do CMP match shooting,
Okay, yeah.
the surplus shooting and stuff like that, the vintage rifle stuff. And the first time I ever went and I did the first CMP match where I used my US 1917, I didn't have a shooting mat, and ow, that hurt.
Yeah, yeah, your elbows definitely take the brunt of it.
Oh yeah, and that was in the middle of the summer, no less. So there was, yeah, there was no padding for my elbows.
Yeah, no, I've always preferred. I have one from I think it was Midway USA. It was a cheap one, but man, that thing's held up great over the years, and it great for like where we were shooting. It was private property, but it was very grassy. You
Hmm.
know, it was basically farmland, so it's nice to have something where you could throw down and lay on it, where bugs aren't constantly crawling up you and everything else.
You know what? That's funny actually. Let's take a quick break actually, and then actually I have an idea. Of something I was gonna say is actually we should have different range bags for if you're shooting at a range or a private land.
Like private land. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a bad idea.
So actually let's get back into that, and we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right. So one great thing about the podcast here is we like to hash ideas out kind of on the spot. And one thing we just really stumbled across is should we have a range bag for going to a private land, a private shooting range compared to going to your public range? And like what are your thoughts on that, Joey?
Yeah, I would say absolutely, and that's kind of with what we were talking about with having a range mat. Where if you're going out, if you're going to your buddy's house, or you're going somewhere out in the woods or something like that, you're definitely going to bring a couple extra things that you wouldn't bring to
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't normally bring, or you might bring to a public ranger, but it'd be okay if you forget if you don't bring it to the public range or your private range, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really like my shooting background. I mean, we almost always went to private land. So the range bag was always a little bit different. I mean, a lot of times it had snacks in it. Snacks are a great thing to bring when
Well,
it's,
that was one
private
thing I was
land.
going to say was extra food, water, stuff like that, especially
Mm-hmm.
like my one buddy, he's out in California. I know he says you can shoot on public land out there, or what is it, federal game land or something like that,
Oh, I know what
or
you're talking about.
federal
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
property or something of that land. And so my first thought is bringing food, water,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like as weird as it sounds, like a chair if you're going to be sitting at a bench or if you
Oh, yeah.
plan on doing
Bag
bench.
chairs are great.
Yeah, stuff like
Um,
that. That would be something else I would get ready to bring to the range.
mhm. Two big things we used to always bring was a beach umbrella because you're out there in the sun all day. Not only are you hot, but if you have guns laying out on a table or a blanket, something like that, the sun's just beating on them. They get stupid hot. I
Hmm.
mean, anybody that's left an AR-15 out in the hot sun knows when you go to pick it up, it's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that can get pretty hot.
Yeah. So we always had a beach umbrella, and my dad had the canopy off a camper. Like he
Hmm.
read or the awning. He redid the awning, saved the old one. So basically, a giant tarp that we could just throw out, where all the shells can land on. We could just sweep them up at the end of the day, pour them in a bucket.
That's the other thing too. I think that'll be a topic in itself is range etiquette. I think on what you should
Oh
and
yeah,
shouldn't
we're
do at the
definitely
range.
doing that
Yeah,
soon.
that'll be a topic in itself. But stuff to clean up after you're done at the range, or if you're in a private range, or when I say private range at this point, I'm meaning more private land or
Hmm.
not your typical range.
Gun club setting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think something with that too you could bring is more different, like a more variety of targets.
Yeah.
You could actually
Yeah. I
bring
mean, you can
stuff
bring
that
swingers, steel targets, stuff like that.
steel targets. You can bring some people I know bring like soda, other foods
Hmm.
to shoot things of that.
Yeah, we always used to
pumpkins.
save up like the 1 gallon jugs, fill
Hmm.
them with water, couple uh, drops of food dye, so you could really see them at a 300-400
Oh,
yards.
oh, that's cool.
Hmm Another good one is the like the white jugs. What I'm blanking on it. What the hell is it?
The
Laundry
way.
detergent,
Oh, okay.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
where it's like that bright white plastic. Some milk jugs are even like that too, where you set them out at a good distance in a field, you can still see it.
Powder stuff like that too.
Tannerite.
Yeah. Yeah, tannerite. That would
You
be
definitely
actually.
have more target options dealing with a private range.
Yeah, that's it's funny because most of my shooting is actually at more traditional ranges, stuff like that.
Hmm
Like like the range I belong to. Then there was like the game ranges I went to over in PA a couple times. Um,
Yep, yep.
Only a handful of times I shot on someone's property, stuff like that. My one friend has his own range that we've shot on a couple times, which that was actually fun because I was able to do that distance brutality kind of thing a while ago. I was trying to do where they
Oh
did.
yeah, you were telling me about
Yeah,
that.
where I actually got to was able to run up my World War II U.S. gear, and I didn't end up submitting it just due to a couple issues I had with shooting the actual footage. But
Hmm
that was fun to do because I couldn't do that at a normal range.
Yeah, absolutely not. So that's one nice thing about private lands is you can get a little bit more involved in the art of shooting. I would
Hmm.
I would you know classify it as, where you're not just like an indoor range where it's very strict, where it's like you go to your little narrow window, set out your 3 pieces of gear that you could actually fit on the bench
Yeah,
and
I
punch holes in paper.
I don't like shooting indoor ranges. Like, no offense to those who are more fans of it. I'm not a
Hmm
fan of it, and that's part of for what you said is first off your range your bench that you have to set your stuff up on is
Very minimal.
limit yeah it's minimal to non-existent. You have enough room for maybe a box of ammo and a pistol and a magazine,
Hmm
and that's about it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to touch on it a little bit earlier, where like depending on the size of your range bag, what all you can fit in there. Because space is a issue for some people given their shooting range setup
Hmm. Yeah, so
and
that's
just
why.
their car. Honestly, some people drive around in big ass Suburbans, other people drive around in smart cars. Granted, I've never seen a smart car at the range, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure someone has somewhere. And
Yeah.
it's funny when I bought my car. Actually, that was one of my concerns was trunk space. I said I need trunk space, and I even told the
How many
guy.
guns can I fit in the back of this
Yeah,
trunk?
it was funny because I even told the guy. I said I'll be straight with you. I like to go shooting, and I need to
Hmm
make sure I have room for my guns. So
Yeah.
he's like,
Well,
no
that was
problem.
one of the big things for me with my when I bought my 4-door Wrangler, because I was moving out to Pittsburgh. So it was like, all right, I'm gonna be taking a lot of guns and tooling out. I need something that the back seats can fold down, and I basically have like an enclosed pickup truck,
Hmm.
something like that. So for that time in my life, that was excellent.
That was the car to get it done.
And I mean, still is. I love that Jeep.
Yeah, that was
But
yeah,
back
my
to
old
the
car.
range bag.
Hmm.
I think one thing we really have to touch on that a lot of people forget, a lot of people are completely lacking in this that I've seen with their range bags, is first aid kit.
I'm happy you mentioned that because that was something I was going to touch on as well. That did get added over the years, and but go on.
Okay.
But
So,
yeah.
with the first aid kit, I mean, you got to think of the injuries that people would actually sustain at the range.
Hmm.
So, you're looking at, trauma, basically a trauma kit, something with tourniquets in it.
I was just gonna say, make
Um,
sure you have a tourniquet. That's a
gotta
must-have.
have a tourniquet. I think I was telling you before, back when I worked at the machine shop, I carried off body in that special carry bag,
Hmm.
and I even carried a tourniquet in that.
Yeah, that's
They don't
smart
take
to
up
have on
much
hand.
room, so just literally roll it up, tuck it somewhere.
Well, you saw the one that's in
So,
the back of my car, that little green one.
hmm
Yep.
yep, yeah, and that's the thing. You really want to have some sort of like trauma pack. Another good thing to have is quick clot. I can't tell you how many times you close your bolt in an M or close your finger in the bolt of an M1 Garand.
Ooh.
shit like that where it just bleeds like crazy for no damn reason.
Yeah, you really need to make sure you have some bandages and stuff and quick clot.
Bandages,
Yeah.
quick clots, great. Um, yeah, just clean stuff that you can clean yourself up with.
So,
One big thing that I don't have yet, that just with preparing for this podcast, I stumbled across the idea. A piece of paper in your bag with like your identification and emergency contact info, where if something were to happen to you, ambulance comes, your gear's pretty much left at the range.
yeah, that's
So
that's yeah, that's true.
just
If
a
you go
little,
by shooting
just
by
a little
yourself,
insurance policy there, where it's like, hey, hopefully some good Samaritan's like, all right, let's check his bag, see if we can find out who it is, and get his shit back to him.
wait, no, that's actually something I was gonna say is too. Do you ever shoot by yourself, or do you?
Oh,
always...
never.
Yeah, that's the thing is I was trying to think. I used to once in a blue moon. I never used to have an issue with it, but with the increase of crime in our area in general, I don't go by myself anymore. Even though I'm armed with a gun, I just why am I gonna go by myself and risk the buddy system?
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like, I do know of a lot of people that will go to the range, shoot, a couple magazines worth out of their hunting rifle and go back home, or like bench rest shooters where they go there, they get all set up and they just punch holes in paper, and that's their thing by themselves. But for me, I'd feel a lot more comfortable having somebody else with me, just to watch other people on the range as well as looking out for my gun.
Yeah,
Because there's been times where if you've ever had a squib round, you don't necessarily notice it. You're like, huh, something seems a little off, but maybe it was just me.
Yeah, and everything looks fine if you do your normal, rack the bolt, see that there's nothing in there,
So it is nice to have somebody else watching you, especially when you go down to check your targets and stuff like that. Have one person go down, set up the targets, and the other person sit up at the bench, watch your stuff, watch everybody around you, make sure nobody's handling a firearm.
Well, that's the thing is, as much, it's not even necessarily about taking your stuff or anything, even though that is, I'm not trying to say that the people at the range are shady people or anything
They're
like
thieves,
that.
Joey.
Yeah,
They're
I'm not trying to
thieves.
say that, but, human nature is
Only
human
for your
nature.
brass.
Yeah, oh, yeah, let's not even get, that's going to be an episode as brass goblins.
That's for the etiquette episode.
Yeah, oh, man.
We'll save that.
And, but when you're going down range and stuff, most ranges have the rule of when people are down range, don't touch the firearms. I don't care what you're doing with your firearm, but when I'm down range, the last thing I want to see is someone fiddling with a firearm. So if your buddy is down range while you're setting up targets, at least he can be like, yo, watch what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that helps that too that we forgot to touch on is chamber flags.
Chamber flags. That's enough.
Yep, I always keep those in my bag. Just
Ever since CMP
especially
shooting.
dealing with like AKs and stuff like that don't, well, they're not supposed to hold open. You pop one in the chamber so that other people around you can see that gun on the bench is cleared.
Yeah, since doing the CMP match shooting a while back, I actually have a couple of chamber flags I think I was given from that I've used.
Those are honestly my favorite, the big-ass yellow CMP ones.
Yeah, the big yellow. Yeah, I think you can actually order them through the CMP, and that's something, if you can, please order the CMP Civilian Marksmanship Program.
Yeah, I've even thought about getting some because there was a company I stumbled on a while ago that made custom ones. So I was thinking about getting my shop logo.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Promote gun safety and actually get my name out there a little bit at the ranges.
Actual gun safety, not like what some people claim is gun safety. That's a topic for itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, chamber flags are something good to have too, which you don't even necessarily need to use something like that too. A lot of handguns nowadays, they even ship in the box with something like even a zip tie will work, something like that. You can put in there like a yellow zip tie.
Yeah, something. I've seen people stick pens in there.
Yeah.
Just anything to show the people around you that the chamber is empty.
Mm-hmm. Anything of that nature is not bad to have.
Mm-hmm. I think that pretty much covers everything in my bag anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too. And with that we said, like, going out to the games, the game lands, the wilds, the wildlands to shoot. When you're going out there, you bring a little bit more. You bring more some you're gonna be out there for a little bit longer versus where your normal public
Oh yeah.
range, where you're gonna have be a little bit closer to civilization, where you're gonna want to go. It's gonna be a little bit easier for you to go grab a burger afterwards, or grab a couple snacks, or there might be a vending
Mm,
machine or something like that. Even though my range actually doesn't have anything of what I just listed, you
yeah.
have to bring it all anyways.
Yeah. Some gun clubs, I mean, they have a whole full freaking kitchen.
Yeah, they
So
really
after you're done shooting, you just pop in, get yourself something to eat right away.
that'd be nice. Wow, I'm trying to think. There actually was one place I went to that had that, which that'd be kind of cool.
Yep. Yeah, I've been to a couple clubs. Obviously none I was members of, but you go in there, get a bite to eat. They have a full bar and everything. You get some drinks.
That's something I never understood was having alcohol in a range in the same building.
Yeah, a lot of them used to do that, and I mean, many still do. But it's one of the things,
I still
they
don't
preach,
understand that,
don't
but I
use
mean,
guns and alcohol together, but then they have them at the same damn place. So a little bit of a conflict of interest there, guys.
well, I mean, it's regulated by the same agency, so I guess it just saves someone paperwork somewhere.
That's
mean-
one way to look at it, I guess.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, I'm sure they got a cigarette machine in there somewhere too.
You know what? There you go. Throw that in your range bag too. You need cigarettes. You need a bottle opener.
Cigarettes,
What else can
bottle
we throw
opener,
in there?
lighter. Actually, lighter might
Lighter.
not be bad to have, but
Lighter's definitely not a bad idea to have.
but
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like
I think we pretty much covered everything.
yeah, pretty much everything we did cover. Yeah, there's more.
Ooh,
Yeah,
hold on. One thing I do have to touch on as a gunsmith.
yeah.
Obviously with your range bag, you bring your mags, you bring your ammo. Make sure you bring the right goddamn ammo.
Oh, that's one thing is when you're going, make sure you have the right ammo because I'm sure you've been there where you brought the wrong ammo and you're like, crap.
Well, I'm specifically talking about people stuffing things in their guns that don't belong.
Ooh,
Like if you have a 9x18 millimeter Makarov, don't go stuffing a 9x19 in there.
yeah, they are different calibers and use the
Mhm.
proper ammo. Yeah, there's some
300
things.
300 Win Mag, 300 Winchester Short Mag are different.
Yeah, exactly.
What's some other shit that I've seen?
300 blackout will chamber into a 5.56 AR and blow up. It's why I will not use. It's why I won't
Absolutely.
own 300 blackout. Do you own anything in 300 blackout?
I don't, but I have a good method for that. If
Mhm.
you're going to have 5.56 guns and 300 blackout guns, stick to one color.
Yeah,
Like, hey, anything 5.56 is black. Anything 300 blackout is flat dark earth. Something where like you almost idiot proof it. Where if you tell your friend, hey, go get me the 300 blackout mags, they're the tan ones.
yeah. Our
Oh,
one buddy
okay,
does
like-
that.
Yeah, nobody can mess that up.
Yeah, that's a good
So-
system for it too. Just like using set specific mags, like all of this brand is this, and this brand is 5.56, or
Yeah, I prefer color. Like seriously,
Color
try
coding
to
it.
idiot. Yeah, seriously, try to idiot proof it. And I did see one post on Facebook. Somebody blew up their AR with a 300 blackout, and their post was that I literally don't even own a 300 blackout.
that's wow. And
Yeah,
you know,
somehow one 300 blackout round got into their bag or something, got mixed in. I have no idea.
that's wild.
That was the post. That's all I had to go off of.
Wow, I don't to be. I mean, to be honest, 300 blackout is a drastically different looking round too, and so
Yeah, it is.
I find that hard to believe that they wouldn't notice the difference. That the round is twice the size.
Yeah, but you know how it is. It's Facebook, so who knows if that's even true. But
Yeah, because they wouldn't even
basically,
let us on there. By the way.
make sure you're using the correct ammo for your firearm.
Yeah, and the best way to avoid 5.56 and 300 blackout accident, have one or the other. That's really my
Yeah,
solution. I just have
just
a
don't do it.
5.56. That's it. I'm not gonna venture down 300 blackout. I know a lot of people will hate me for saying that, but honestly, I have 7.62 I have, which is a fun caliber as it is, and I have 5.56. You know, if I want to suppress 5.56, I'll go get a suppressor and I'll go do 5.56, or I'll go get a suppressor and I'll do 7.62 You know, like it's I can do it. This is a free country. I can
Yeah.
if I want to
But
get a suppressor,
don't
I'll
get
go
me
get
wrong.
a suppressor.
300 blackout is going to suppress better, and I've heard great things that it will outperform a 5.56 in and under like 200 yards. But it's one of the things. Okay, like if you have
What difference am I really like?
if you
how,
have 4.5.56 guns, is that 300 blackout really gonna
that and the kind of
you know,
shooting I'm doing,
make
I'm
or
not going to
break it?
be.
Yeah.
I'm not that good of a shot that I'm going to be that precise styling in those shots.
Mm-hmm. For the average shooter.
For the average shooter, yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is it's like,
hold on, Joey. Catchphrase. Let's be honest. We
Yeah.
classify ourselves as just average shooters.
yes.
So,
Oh man.
alrighty, man. What do you say we wrap it up there?
Yeah, I think that's about it. We went over all the differences between different kind of range bags, what we have and what we generally bring.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You,
kind
you
of
learn from your mistakes. Every time you forget something, it usually goes in the range bag for good.
yeah. This time now you bring a screwdriver, then you bring a Leatherman, then you bring a whole tool set,
Mm-hmm.
then you end up bringing everything in a box instead of in a bag.
I feel attacked now, Joey.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Oh, shit. So,
But-
alrighty, man. So, with the wrap up, where can people find you at?
People can find me over on Instagram at SightPictures762, or they can find me over on YouTube as well at SightPictures762, where I haven't had a lot up there lately, but hopefully soon I'll add some more hunt
Still
content.
posting the game content?
Yeah, hopefully. You know what? I haven't been playing games. I've been busy with work and busy doing this stuff and trying to get everything together with this. So I really haven't been gaming, so I haven't been able to add anything on there.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah, but the main thing is people can, follow me and us, I should say, at Across the Gun Counter on Instagram or at acrosstheguncounter.com.
Absolutely.
But where can they find you at, Tyler?
They can find me at precisionrifleworks.com, and I am also on Precision Rifleworks I am at Precision Rifleworks on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. You're on Facebook. We were not allowed on Facebook, actually. The second I made an account, because I am very... I deleted my... This needs to be said. Across the Gun Counter will not be on Facebook. We tried getting on there. I made an account just to make because I don't have a Facebook
Just
myself anymore. Yeah, so I made
place.
Yep, so I made a Facebook account just so I could go on there and make it Across the Gun Counter Facebook. Made it, put up our picture, put up the profile, hey, just basically copied everything from our RSS.
Mm-hmm.
And bam, we were considered harmful content. So, no, we will not be, Across the Gun Counter will not be on Facebook. Tyler's on Facebook. Across the Gun Counter will not be on Facebook.
Yep. That's just like TikTok. TikTok did that for me with Precision Rifleworks.
Oh, screw them anyway.
One video and it got taken down. I'm like, all right, well, screw that.
Oh, yeah, screw them anyways. They're, communist.
Mm-hmm.
So,
alrighty, man.
I like their guns.
Let's call it a wrap.
All right. So, anyways, guys, take care. Stay safe. Prep that range bag. Don't be forgetting stuff at home like I do half the time.
Yep. And thank you guys again for all the support you've been giving us so far with the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, please keep follow, and subscribe. We're going to have some more updates with you guys in the next couple episodes. And until then, please, again, thank you for watching and like and subscribe and all that good stuff.
Alrighty. Take care, guys.
Yep.